You may not have heard of the two men that you're about to meet, but they're on the team that could decide the GOP nominee and so possibly even the next president. They are members of the all-important RNC Rules Committee, which meets this week in Florida and has the ultimate say about those super complicated delegate rules. RNC Chair Reince Priebus has now gone on the record saying he doesn't want any rule changes that are designed to subvert Donald Trump. As for my guests, Randy Evans from Georgia says he wants the rules to stay the way they are, but Solomon Yu from Oregon is pushing to rewrite the rules to give more power to individual delegates. Glad to have you both. Mr. Evans, did you ever think when you accepted the assignment that the Rules Committee would have as much importance as apparently it will have before Cleveland?
Absolutely. The Rules Committee always has an
Really?
important. Yes, because the rules really can dictate the outcome. Just look at what we learned from 2012, where the Romney campaign came in and put a rule in that said that you had to have 8 states in order to be nominated. And the net effect was we only had one person in nomination. And so, yes, I would say that we always knew the rules were going to be important. The most important part now is I think there's such sensitivity, especially with Donald Trump's comments about whether or not things are getting rigged, about whether we should change any rules. And I think there's a sense of the committee that we really shouldn't change any rules this late in the process.
You just referenced 8 states. I don't know if you were making reference to Rule 40B. Rule 40.
I was.
Okay, Rule 40B, you correct me if I'm wrong because you're the guy on the committee,
right,
says that you got to win a majority of the delegates in 8 states or you can't be considered for the nomination. That would mean John Kasich, unless things really change in the next couple of weeks, won't be due any consideration. Should Rule 40B be changed?
Well, first of all, you're technically not right. Really what the rule says is you must demonstrate the support of a majority of the delegates of 8 states, not that you have won them. And I know that
Well, how else do you demonstrate it?
Well, you could demonstrate it with an oath or with a verification. You don't have to actually have won the state, is my point. But it really doesn't matter because the affirmative threshold is 1237. So if someone votes for anyone other than the front runner and they don't get to 1237, that's the equivalent of a no vote. And so at the end of the day, the 1237 is what's going to control that outcome.
Actually, I agree with Randy that 8-state rule should not be changed, known as 40B. But at the same time, if we're going to do that, we must have transparency because we're operating in a supercharged political environment. We could blow up the convention as well as the Republican Party. That's my concern.
The single greatest threat to us is that we can't get this done in 4 days. You just think about the process. If every delegate is permitted the opportunity to make a motion, filibuster, do whatever, you literally then have the opportunity for a group of people who say, I will never support Donald Trump or I will never support Ted Cruz, to hijack the process by a simple filibuster.
Gentlemen, you heard me speak perhaps to Sean Spicer. I said to him, it seems like you've got a mutiny on your hands. Mr. Evans, I'll start with you. Is Donald Trump a runaway train as a front runner?
No, I don't think so at all. I think we've still got a long ways to go to see. I do believe that if he gets past 1,100, the momentum will push him over the top. I think it'll be pretty easy to cobble together another 137 people who want to be on the winner's team. On the other hand, I believe that if he gets below 1,000, we're going to have a wide-open convention where we probably, at the end of the day, end up suspending the rules in order to get to a nominee.
So that I'm clear, you are not saying if Trump gets to 1,100, then it's over. You're saying at 1,100, though momentum would be such, I believe he gets to 1237.
That's right. I call it the bandwagon effect. If you've ever noticed, the closer the winner gets to the finish line, the more people there are helping push them along. And you'll be surprised at how many people who've been insiders forever suddenly see this is the only ticket to be in the train with this outsider, and they'll jump on the train.
Mr. Yu, are you concerned? I mean, I'm questioning you as a member of the Rules Committee, but you're a Republican National Committee man. You want to win. Surely you're concerned that Donald Trump wrote this op-ed in the Wall Street Journal and is now at odds, calling this a process that's rigged.
That means we need a transparency again. As a matter of fact, I disagree with Randy said. The threat is delay. Actually, the real threat is lack of transparency and chair make decision on his own without consulting a majority of the delegates. And then you blow up the convention and you blow up the Republican Party and you lose in November. I want to win as well. So that's why my disagreement with Randy is really about winning in November by respecting the majority.
Mr. Evans, respond to that.
No, I totally agree with Solomon. Listen, Solomon and I have been on the Rules Committee together, and we are on the same page. I believe in transparency as well. I just don't think you can change the rules of the game in the middle of the game. And so we played 7
Wait a minute.
innings.
Randy, no. We are not changing the rules of the game. We bring more transparency to the process. And that's more important. And you and I agree we're not going to change nominating rules, and a state majority is going to stay. But however, okay, whatever we do, we don't want chairman or presiding officer is empowered. We want grassroots and delegates, majority of them, to make that decision to be empowered.
Right. And at the end of the day, the delegates will have that opportunity. If they want that increased level of transparency or they want Robert Rules of Order, that'll be an option that'll be available to them when the rules package comes to the floor. But it's not something
No,
that I think that we on the Rules Committee should dictate in advance.
I disagree. I disagree, Randy. Here is the reason, Michael. The reason I'm believe if we delay this vote, and basically we deny transparency. So you can't really have both ways.
Mr. Evans, I'll give you the final word on that.
Actually, I'll say the same thing I say to Delta when they say, do you want to get there safely or on time? And I go, both, which is we need to plan for both possibilities.
I have to say, gentlemen, from the outside looking in, I think we've just seen in a snapshot, in a window that you have given to us here on CNN, the difficulty that is faced by Republican National Committee members in resolving this framework before Cleveland.